Good evening and welcome to the 623rd episode of Travel Itch. I'm Dan Schlossberg and we are in the 15th season of Travel Itch Radio, the show that lets you enjoy the pleasures of travel from the comfort of your armchair. Every week at this time, we talk to people representing destinations, hotels, airlines, railroads, car rental companies, and others in the world of travel and hospitality, from authors and bloggers to broadcasters and publicists. If it's got anything to do with travel, it's got everything to do with Travel Itch. Our guest tonight is my friend travel writer Sharon Kurtz. Welcome back, Sharon, to Travel Itch Radio.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
And Sharon, you had a great idea for a show, and this is it. So I'm glad we finally got you an air date on Travel Itch again. Too often we're like two sheep passing in the night. And speaking of sheep, I'm thrilled to hear that the Trailing of the Sheep Festival is approaching a big anniversary. Please tell our viewers what it is and where it is.
Well, it is true. It's approaching a big anniversary. The Trailing of the Sheep Festival, it takes place in October in Ketchum, Idaho, every year, and it marks the annual movement of the sheep from the high mountain summer pastures back down to the valley ranchlands. And they're going to be celebrating their 30th anniversary this year.
Well, that is amazing. Am I correct in saying this annual October festival marks the return of the sheep from high mountain summer pastures to valley ranchlands?
Yes, it does. It's a real thing. It's not just a staged event. It's just not a party. It's actually what happens in the ranching history in this area. The sheep have to get from the high mountains down to the lower valleys, and this is an annual migration that happens.
We understand the festival brings more than 25,000 visitors to experience a living American tradition, not a staged event, as you said. But how and when did it start? And by the way, how do the sheep know when it's time to come down?
Well, they have sheep herders, but it's ingrained in them, I'm sure. They're in the high mountains in the summertime. That's where the best grasses are. And then when it starts to get cold, they know it's time to move down to lower pastures. So the sheep herders are an integral part, and they learned 150 years ago that the best sheep herders were from the Basque country, from Spain and France.
Well, I love this picture because of the border collie, because I used to have one. So tell us what this is.
Well, this is a sheep wagon. The sheep herders live with the sheep. They right among them, and that is a sheep wagon where they live. Inside is a little stove, a little area, a little cot, and it's a very lonely existence. These sheep herders live by themselves all, season long up there in that wagon.
Is it accurate to say that the event marks more than 150 years of sheep ranching in Idaho's Wood River Valley?
Yeah, it's part of the history of this area. That's how they made their living, and it's perfect for the sheep. So it started, and it's also works because the railroad came to Ketchum area, Wood River Valley, to take care of the coal that was the iron that was being mined. So they had a railroad spur, and that made it all worthwhile work because that's how they got the sheep to market.
Well, Idaho may be best known for Sun Valley skiing and tasty potatoes, but sheep ranching has to be right up there too. So tell us about the scenery festival goers will find with the Pioneer, Smoky, and Boulder Mountains providing an alpine backdrop around Ketchum, Haley, and Bellevue.
Oh, it is spectacularly beautiful. I have to admit, I had never been to Idaho, and so I was amazed. The fall aspens are at their peak colors. They're like quaking little gold things on the trees that fall down in the wind, and it's just like that. That's Big Baldy Mountain there in front of you, and it is the most gorgeous. It's fall. It's beautiful temperatures. There's hiking, there's biking, and it is the perfect time to come to Idaho.
And viewers, we're counting sheep with travel writer Sharon Kurtz. Sharon, weren't some of the earlier sheep herders Basque immigrants whose culture is still celebrated and honored in the valley?
Yes, so that is another part of the festival. The first sheep herders were Basques from France and Spain because that was their history, and they knew how to herd the sheep. And then they uh, Scottish people came as well as Peruvians. So in this festival, they celebrate all three of those cultures with dancing and food. It's really wonderful.
Not lamb chops, though, right?
Yeah, lamb chops, of course. The food is delicious. Yeah, we celebrate the lambs and the sheep, but we also eat lots of lamb chops.
Okay. Basque dance, music, and food are featured, as you mentioned, with chef demonstrations and dine arounds. And dare we say lamb tastings? So if you have lamb chops, you must have lamb tastings.
Oh, so the weekend has all kinds of events. Lots of food forward events, chef dinners, and this dine around event is so much fun. It is a hottest ticket in town. Like a select number of restaurants all have their own what they're going to prepare for guests, and you have to get a ticket. And when it starts, the guests go from one restaurant to the next, and you have lamb meatballs and lamb spaghetti and lamb chops and lamb kebabs and the most tastiest, best food.
Well, this kind of reminds me of when you go into a restaurant and you see a lobster tank, you can pick your own lobster. Can you pick your own sheep here?
No, you can't do that. But it is delicious. But that would be too sad, don't you think?
Yes.
You couldn't eat a lamb if you saw that pretty little thing in front of you.
That's for sure. Well, we understand the highlight of the weekend event is the Big Sheep Parade with more than 1,200 sheep herders, wagons, and dancers prancing along Main Street. Tell us more, please.
Oh, the whole weekend comes to this point. Right there, you see it. People line the parade route all the downtown, down Main Street, like 6 deep, and you're all waiting for these sheep. But before the sheep comes, you have dancers parading down. You have the sheep wagons led by these wonderful team of horses. You have bagpipers. You have a prancing little ram led by his handler greeting all the little children. And then you see in the distance the sheep coming, and there's a big hush that comes over the crowd because you don't want to scare the sheep because they're flighty, and so you see them coming, and it is just like hush falls over the crowd, and it's just the most amazing day.
As a dog lover, I would fit right in since I know trained border collies and their handlers love to show off their ranching and herding skills. I used to own a border collie who was one of the smartest dogs I've ever known, and I know you agree with that.
Oh, I do. They are so smart, and it was so much fun to watch the sheep herding events. They're timed, and they win on accuracy and timing, and it is amazing what those dogs can do. The sheep, they circle around them. They eyeball them. They can just get them to move with whistles by their handlers and movements and hand movements.
I want to tell our viewers you're listening to Travelwitch Radio with Dan Schlossberg. Find the archive show on YouTube, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, X, and Facebook. And we're counting sheep today with travel writer Sharon Kurtz. Sharon, the weekend is not only about animals, but also food, music, storytelling, and living Western traditions. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, there's all kinds of events for the weekends. Like there'll be events where you go to the community library and there'll be a panel of ranchers there in front of you. These are real ranchers that have lived this history through their families, and they answer questions. They tell you about the traditions of sheep herding and how it works. And it is just fascinating to be in this authentic event.
Well, does Ketchum have the hotel and restaurant capacity needed to handle 25,000 weekend guests?
Well, this is where Sun Valley, Idaho is. So it's set up for tourism. Sun Valley, Idaho has resorts, and Ketchum has resorts and Airbnbs and accommodations and all the best restaurants. So yeah, they are ready for guests.
Is there some kind of a shuttle that goes between the Sun Valley Resort and the festival?
Yes, there are. It's free as well. So that's fun. If you want to, the resort is a little bit outside of Ketchum, but there's a shuttle back and forth all day long.
Is the Trailing of the Sheep Festival the highlight of the Ketchum social calendar?
Oh, it is. People look forward to this all year long. And I encourage you to plan soon because events sell out. It is a sought after experience and you'll want to be there, but you have to make your plans early.
Is it weather dependent?
No. When I was there in October, it took a little cold snap. So for the Big Sheep Parade, I had every item of clothing that I brought with me on my body. It was cold, but it's part of it. You're outdoors and there was no rain. They say it very seldom rains, but you'll get all kinds of weather and you just have to be prepared for it.
Well, fans of Ernest Hemingway will recognize the name Ketchum because the great novelist spent his final years there and actually resides in the local cemetery. Is the area's outdoor lifestyle still the same as it was when Hemingway lived there?
It is. You get out, when you come, get out in your car and drive the mountain roads. And it is like it was when he lived there. There's fishing and there's hunting and there's the beautiful vistas everywhere. And yeah, it probably is very much like when Ernest lived here.
And if you look at that plaque, it says, "Best of all, he loved the fall."
Oh yeah, that is the most lovely memorial right there.
Karen, how do people get to Ketchum, plane, train, or automobile? And what activities will they find if they want to come early or extend their stay?
Well, you can fly into the Friedman Memorial Airport in Haley. It's just 15 minutes from Ketchum. So that's the easiest way. And also you can drive from Boise. That's about a 2.5-hour drive. But yeah, you need to come and plan to come early and stay late because, as I said, there's so many things to do. Just driving up in the mountains is glorious, but hunting, fishing, hiking, and not yet skiing. That's a little early for skiing, but we did see snow on the top of Old Baldy.
And tonight we're counting sheep with travel writer Sharon Kurtz. Our viewers are curious, how often do you travel and when do you write? On the road, at home, or a little of both?
Well, when I travel, I'm in the moment and I do not write while I'm there, but I do plenty of note taking at home in my hotel at the end of the day. I take thousands and thousands of photos and that I'm visual and that brings my mind back to what I saw, but I leave my writing for when I get home.
I've got to ask, why do the sheep look blue in this picture?
I think it was an overcast day. It might have been a very early morning.
Ah, okay. It could be a fog or something.
Yes.
And people also want to know how you became a travel writer, so please share.
Well, for me, it was a midlife pivot, Dan. What happened to me? I loved my career. I was an artist and I designed products. But when my two boys got out of high school and I had the opportunity, I said, okay, now it's my turn to follow my passion. And my passion is travel and writing. So I'm very lucky that I could make that pivot in my life.
And tell us about some of your other trips.
Well, I travel as much as I can. And I'll just bring up maybe in 2025, last year, I was in Japan in cherry blossom season in the spring for almost a month. And then in the end of the year, in the fall, I was in Germany, in Bavaria for 3 different press trips. I was on a train trip. I was on a river cruise. I was in Bavaria itself on the ground. And then I was in Ketchum, Idaho in October for the Trailing of the Sheep Festival. So
And
those are 3 favorite trips in last year.
Oh, very nice. And you're based in Texas, so you have a relatively benign climate, right?
Yeah, it does get warm in the summertime. I won't kid you about that, but most of the year it's very nice, and we have a very outdoor lifestyle here.
And what is your home airport?
It is the Austin Bergstrom Airport.
Oh, I've never been there. Is it a major airport? How big is it?
It is. Well, Austin, as you can imagine, it's growing like crazy. And really, we've outgrown our airport. So they're currently remodeling it, adding more gates. But I think in the future, you will see a brand new airport even farther out of the city.
Is most of your travel domestic or international?
It's both. I like a mix of both. So yeah, I I travel as much as I can, both.
And do you prefer, Sharon, to go to new places or return to old favorites?
I like to go to new places because that's where the story is for me. I get to learn and then write about something new. But my husband and I go to Maui every November. That is his favorite place, and that's our getaway. And actually, I'm writing about Maui this year, but usually it's just our low key downtime vacation.
I'm a big fan of Hawaii Five-O, so I don't blame you at all. I've been to Hawaii 4 times myself. Have you written any travel books or won any awards?
I have won photography awards. And as far as writing, I just write often. I think I have over 300 publications that I have stories that I have written since my career started 10 years ago.
Oh, that's terrific. Is there anything I haven't asked you that you would like to add?
Well, just that I hope people will, from the pictures and from what I've told you, keep Haley, Idaho, and the Trilling of the Sheep Festival in mind for an authentic experience that you will not find anywhere else. It it uh, it is really undescribable, and it's worth the time just to see beautiful Ketchum, Idaho. But this is an authentic, fun event that tells the history of the West, and you should go.
And you get free barking out of it too.
Yeah, there's the dogs.
Border collies.
Poodles, standard poodles.
Okay. Our guest this evening on Travel Itch has been travel writer Sharon Kurtz. Thank you, Sharon, for joining us on Travel Itch and telling us about something that I didn't know, probably many of the viewers didn't know. Okay, and listeners, don't forget to get the best baseball companion for the brief remainder of the postseason. It's my book, The New Baseball Bible, 480 pages for a little more than a sawbuck. Such a deal. It's an oversized, illustrated, unorthodox history of America's national pastime, and it's both a coffee table book and a bathroom book. Read it backwards and still enjoy it. That's The New Baseball Bible with Shohei Ohtani on the cover. Get it from Amazon.com tonight. And that's it for this edition of Travel Itch. Next week, we'll talk to another travel journalist, Cindy Lodage. Now, this is Dan Schlossberg saying thank you for your time this time. Until next time, good night.
Good night.
I see. Here we go.